Alright, y'all, what up? We back. Let me tighten this real quick. So, story time. We're gonna do a little bit of cruising, a little bit of story time, best of both worlds, alright? So, today is, let's see, March 4th, Thursday, March 4th. So, let's see if I can explain everything to you, beautiful watchers of mine, or handsome fellers, whatever, beautiful non-binaries. Whatever the case may be, whatever your gender pronoun is. Let's see. Yesterday, about halfway through my day, I realized that my chain on my forklift is about, I don't know, 2/3 of the way broken. And had to take it easy on the forklift to make sure that I was able to get my deliveries done in a safe, professional manner, which I did manage to do. And then this morning, so fun fact about this Penske truck that I have, it does not have a glass lens on the fuel gauge. So I am almost 100% positive that when they gave me the truck, the person who returned the truck just stuck their finger to move the needle on the gauge to reflect full, and that I never got the truck full of fuel. Because they checked it, it said full, and they just rented it out as full, and I'm pretty convinced I didn't receive it that way. But either way, the fuel gauge is not calibrated. So there's an orange or amber light that pops up to basically signify that the tank has less than 1/8 of a tank of fuel in it. And I'm pretty sure I talked about this before, but I'm just going over it again. When the amber light comes on, that means it has 1/8 of a tank. And normally when the light pops on, the needle shows 1/4 of a tank, if not more. So when the light comes on, I'll personally manually move the needle to the eighth of a tank mark, so that if it drops lower, I know. And I don't know. So the day went pretty well yesterday. I pushed a lot of dicks in the dirt yesterday, and I was on the phone with the general manager, and I'm on my way home, and then I'm looking at the gas gauge. I'm like, oh shit, I need fuel. I was like, that's all right. I got 1/8 of a tank. I should have enough to last me until tomorrow, at least to get me to work. And there's gas stations near multiple Home Depot locations. So I'm like, all right, sweet. And then I had just put in like $200 in the tank on the passenger side the day before yesterday. So I'm like, there's no way I burned through $200 worth of fuel. I only drove 200 miles, maybe 300 miles between yesterday and the day before. There's no way I went through $200 worth of fuel. So I'm like, that doesn't make any sense, but whatever, I'll go get fuel. I go to start my truck this morning, and it gives me some issues. Like, the truck acts like it doesn't want to start. I actually got it started driving it. Very long story short, the truck started sputtering, and I'm like, oh no, don't tell me that either, I'm still showing like 1/8 of a tank, and I'm like, don't tell me the fuel froze. So I get out the truck real quick, I put more anti-gel in the tanks, and before I can make it back to the truck, the damn truck turns off and it won't start back up. So I had to call roadside assistance. Roadside assistance didn't get there till about almost 9 o'clock, and I left my house at 5:20-ish. No, they didn't get there till like 8 o'clock. It was like 7:45 or something like that. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, this is crazy. So I ended up walking home. It was like a block and a quarter away. So I ended up walking home just to keep warm. And I get the phone call from roadside assistance that he's gonna be there soon. So I'm like, all right, cool beans. Make my way back up to the truck, grab another another jug of anti-gel. And then he shows up and he's like, how much fuel you got in the tank? I'm like, I'm not even sure, the gauge barely even works. So he opens up both my tanks. He looks inside, he's like, dude, the driver's side, which is the primary tank, is bone dry. I'm like, okay. And then he checks the passenger side. He's like, you have a lot of fuel on this side, but nothing in the driver's side. I'm like, well, that makes sense, because the last time I put fuel in it, I put fuel only on the passenger side. He's like, yeah, but the pump, you know, I forgot the exact words he used, but there's like a transfer pump that moves diesel from the secondary tank to the primary tank. And he said, if there's no diesel in the primary tank, that means that the pump isn't doing its job. So I'm like, all right. So he goes, I'm gonna give you 15 gallons of pre-treated diesel. I'm gonna prime the lines and do all that stuff and get you back on the road. So I was like, all right, cool beans. And then you know, truck started up, got rolling, and then I realized I still have to drive to North Window to swap out the pump. So not only did I get a late start, but I had to drive all the way to North Window to go pick up the spare Moffett and put that on the trailer. And I made sure I put a nice amount of anti-gel in the tank, because it's been sitting for a while. But the thing it fired up with no issues. But it's been a hell of a it's been a hell of a 6 weeks. It really has. It really has. Like I don't know how else to I don't know if that's a bomb or that's a test. I'm not sure what the hell's going on. I guess we'll see. This might be the last goodbye. Oh, nope, that's the fire department. Hurry up and get the hell out the way. I think that's for volunteer firefighters to go to the station. I'm not sure. I'm not trying to speculate, but it's kind of a coinkydink that ambulance is pulling out of the station. But whatever. But yeah, it's been a hell of a challenging challenging 6 weeks or so. And I know it's been longer than that since I've uploaded a video to YouTube, but I promise